Hey guys, welcome to Mara's Juncture. I am Mara, and today I'm going to be discussing all the memoirs that I read in 2024. I love me a good memoir. If you're new to my channel, nonfiction is my favorite genre, and specifically memoirs. I love me a good memoir, especially when the memoir is narrated by the person whose memoir it is. Okay, let's run down through this list because I did read a lot of memoirs in 2024. If you see me looking over here, it's because I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder and my cranberry drink is a paid actor, okay? Has me in a chokehold. Okay, so the first one we're going to start with, these are in no particular order. Where is the book? Because I just had it. Well, oh, it's right here. Okay, so the first one we're starting with is The Love You Saved by Goldie Taylor. Absolutely love this memoir. It's very sad, but also very transformative. It's really hard to sum up memoirs without telling you everything that happened. So I would say the word sad and transformative. Beautiful testimony. Next, we have Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston, and this follows the story of Cudjo, Cudjo, and I think he was one of the people that was on the last slave ship over here, the Clotilda. I don't know. There's a documentary about it on, I believe, Amazon, because they recently found, I think it's called The Descendants or Child, I don't know what it's called, but I watched it, it's on Amazon, I believe, and they did recently find pieces of the Clotilda. And so Cudjo tells his story of coming over here to America, trying to maintain his culture from Africa, as well as what him and his family have gone through. And I feel so bad for him. Such a beautiful black man too. So shout out to Zora Neale Hurston for harassing Cudjo to tell his story and share his story with us. Next, we have Men We Reap by Jesmyn Ward. After reading her, so her memoir is mainly centered around loss, all the men in her life that she lost, and she does dabble into her childhood, but it's mainly centered around childhood and the experience of the loss that she went through with the men in her life. And after reading that book, it just made sense as to why she's so deep in her writing, because the first book that I read from her is Let Us Descend. It's all the way over there. I don't feel like getting it. And so after reading that, I see why she's just so deeply spiritual, because she has just been put in this space where it gives her the space to be able to be deeply spiritual, because she has experienced so much death, and that can either make or break you. And so I see why she's just such a deeply spiritual person. Next we have A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown. Baby, this is literally top 3 of memoirs for me. It's going in the top 3. It has to go in at least top 5 and basically worthy of being in top 3. This memoir is nuts. There is a God. There is a God. Next, we have Lucky Me by Rich Paul. I do not have this on my bookshelf. He is a sports agent. I didn't know anything about Rich Paul besides him being with Adele, and I loved it. It's very, even though he's a sports agent, it wasn't sports related. So if you are turned off by reading sport content, it's really his journey. He's such a great storyteller, and I did listen to this on audiobook, and I just he made me feel like I was back in Cleveland with him, and yeah, I loved it. He did a good job. Bits and Pieces by Whoopi, phenomenal. Whoopi, hands down, she killed it. And her memoir is centered around the relationship of her mother and brother, how both of them were just the foundation of who she is as a person, not completely but partly, and how the loss of both of them affected her deeply. And baby, the audiobook eats hands down top 5 best audiobooks. I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks cuz it took me a while to be able to get into audiobooks, especially in the realm of like fiction, but I would say like so far of the audiobooks that I have listened to, she's going in top 5, and especially like top 5 memoirs. Cuz phenomenal job. The next one, Did Everyone Have an Imaginary Friend or Just Me? I think that's the title, by Jay Ellis. I known him from Insecure, and this is like a coming of age memoir. So I feel like this would be like a perfect book to gift the young man in your life, like coming of age, like a teenager, maybe like I would say nowadays, since these kids are so grown, like 13 and up, to gift it to them, because I would I would say it will make a great gift for like a coming of age book for the young little man in your life to relate to. I definitely would gift this book to my son, as well as Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Those are two books that are like on my list to gift my son when he's of age to be able to read. Armed with Good Intentions by Wallow 267. So I feel like this memoir would be good for someone who is like stuck in a rut, constantly repeating cycles, specifically a man. Well, I felt inspired by it, but specifically a man, especially if they're in and out of the system, as far like jail, prison, things of that nature, and they're just constantly repeating cycles, because it could be very inspiring, or give somebody that boost to know that you do not have to stay stuck in your cycles, and you can like turn your life around. And also fan base as well, like if you are a fan of Wallow or Gilly, then I think you would enjoy his memoir. And I did listen to this on audio. Phenomenal. Next, we have Who's That Girl by Eve. She did narrate her own book, and I feel like hers is more like fan based. So, like, if you are a diehard Eve fan, or you enjoy Eve, her music, and you liked her show, I think you would enjoy her memoir. It's definitely more like fan based. Like, you really would have to like Eve to appreciate her memoir. And next we have Ricky Smiley's Sideshow. This one is not really giving memoir. It's giving more. It's like he does give you like bits and pieces, like very, 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 very like small crumbs, but it's mainly centered around grief. So this is more so for someone who has experienced the loss of a loved one in your life, or if you know someone who has and they're kind of struggling just a little bit with grief. I feel like they might be able to have some takeaways from the memoir. The next we have The Fire from Her Tongue by Heather Omar Reese. I think that's how her name is but I'll put it on the screen as well. So her memoir is very poetic. It is written in poetry form, and hers, baby, there is a God. Hers is giving there is a God as well, because she just went through so much when she was younger, and then she does such a good job with her poetry. So she's a good poet, and then as well as who she is today, just such a humble being, and I can't wait to read more from her. So if you know somebody in your life who is into poetry as well as memoirs, then I feel like they would enjoy hers. And it's less than 100 pages, so they'll be able to get what they need from it, and it's a quick read. Next we have Heavy by Kiese Lemon. I cannot hear his name like that, because there's a part in the book where somebody pronounces his name like that, and then now I just can't unsee it. So we have Heavy by Kiese Lemon, and I did start annotating just a little bit, but I absolutely love this book because it was very vulnerable. Like, I feel like if you have a black man in your life who is struggling with vulnerability, I feel like even not just like relationship based, like with others, but more so with himself, I feel like this would be a good memoir for him to read, because I loved the vulnerability in this. I just loved his openness. He was very raw and naked in this book, and I appreciated it so much. And he did narrate it himself, and he did a good job. Next, we have The Color of Water by James McBride. Baby, this audiobook eats down. Like, eats real bad. So it's narrated by two different narrators. It's not James, but I wish it was narrated by him and his mother. But I don't know the logistics of audiobooks, so I don't know what determines whether or not somebody chooses to narrate their own. Why does my book look like that? Is it supposed to look like that? Oh, I don't think I've ever noticed that. But yeah, so it's narrated by two different narrators. The one narrator is a man for James, and then there is another narrator who definitely sounds just like she's a Jewish woman. So because this memoir follows James telling his story as well as his mother telling her story, so it's like a two-part memoir kind of, and beautiful. This is a great discussion book, a great study book, a great exploring different layers between the Black community and the Jewish community. And yeah, loved it. Next we have The Narrative of William Wells Brown. I think that's the title. I just put The Narrative of William Wells Brown. So William Wells Brown was a slave who escaped, and he made it his mission to help other slaves to be free and get back on their feet into freedom. And I don't know, if you like slave narratives, I think if you like 12 Years a Slave, I think you'll like his as well, because it just tells his journey of what it was like being a slave, what he had to experience with his mother, his siblings, and then his journey into freedom. And I feel like these books are just so important because, they try to erase that part of history. And I just think those voices should continue to be uplifted because we're not going to forget. Next, we have Growing Up Urkel by Jaleel White. I feel like this one is exactly what it says, Growing Up Urkel. So he literally just tells his journey from when he started being Urkel up until now, and like it's pretty much all centered around show business, like heavy into show business. So just like the show business journey, that's like, and he gives you a little dibble and dabble like his daughter and parents and stuff like that, but it's mainly centered heavy around show business. And then last we have The Master of Me by Kiki Palmer. And I loved it. Our fellow, my Virgo twin, our birthdays are not on the same day, but Virgo gang, Virgo nation, okay? But hers is mainly centered around self-help. It's like memoir and self-help mixed into one. So if you know somebody who's like into self-help books, like Kiki Palmer, they're a fan of Kiki Palmer, then I think they would love her book. But of course, I ate it up. I think she did a good job. She does address a lot of the public incidents that have been like went viral, like the main things that people have recently spoke about regarding her, even her, the father of her son, and like their relationship, not deeply, but she does briefly speak on like the whys and what, and how they're moving forward, co-parenting, the Usher situation, the other situation where she came out and said how who I'm talking about, where she did not feel comfortable at a party, and they was just trying to say, oh, you're trying to bring him down. So she does speak on a lot of those situations. Maybe she did not hold back. She does include like inserts from her podcast with other people she spoke with. It was a very uplifting and like don't be a victim. Like, this is how you can master yourself. Pretty much, this is how I've mastered me. And y'all gonna hear some background noise because that's just my reality, okay? So yeah, her book is centered around mastering herself, as well as showing us, her readers, how we can master ourselves and not constantly be in a victim state. So love that. But yeah, those are all the memoirs that I read in 2024. I can't wait to see the memoirs that I'm going to read in 2025. If you have any memoir recommendations, go ahead and drop them below. Memoirs that like impacted you or that you thought were just phenomenal, you loved it, can't stop thinking about them. Go ahead and drop me some recs down in the comments. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, I don't know why you're waiting. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Subscribe to your girl. Let's lock in. Because what is nice and chill over here, baby. And once again, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.